This morning, the triple threat, fitness, focus, and friendship. Let's get after it, men. Don't hit the snooze button. You do, you're 9 minutes behind the guy who doesn't. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm the host. I'm Keith Billis. Let's get after it, Jimmy. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where excuse
when something negative comes up.
Build a muscle of peace, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
Being a super
be entertained by fun over here.
How if I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that?
There he is. That's me. I'm your host, Keith Billis. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, nation. Good morning. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm your host, Keith Billis. Joining me this morning, we got C. Marty Fit, the boy wonder himself. Happy birthday, Marty. AKA Christopher Martin's here this morning in the lab. We got John Anderson, the guy who likes to pick things up and put them down. Strong guy, the bodybuilder, the wrestler, one of the world's strongest men, joining me here this morning on the lab. He joins me every morning. Johnny Anderson's here. Of course, got producer Jimmy on the buttons, making sure we look good, sound good, make sure we get all the topics on the table for the show. Speaking of topics, hey guys, we like to drop F-bombs, S-bombs, B-bombs, different kind of bombs in the lab. So if you got children, I invite you to put the headphones in, walk the children out, or just sit down and give them an education lesson on the real words that humans use, adults use when they communicate. They're not always crafted in fake words, whatever that is. Big show today, guys. We're talking fitness, focus, and friendships this morning, men. We know that's the triple threat to keep us going and keep us moving here in the lab here. This is the morning show, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We drop here on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Good morning, Jevin. Good morning, Hey Gay. Good to see you here. We put a filter on you. Awesome. I like that. Good morning, Morgan. I see you there in the comments as well. Good morning, everybody. Jimmy, let's bring in the boys. Oh, Johnny looks jacked this morning sitting there. I have a triple beard. I do. Johnny, you look jacked today, man. Did you get a lift in or something this morning or what?
No, I think it's because when I wear a black shirt, you're losing my outline in the background.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right.
You don't actually. You just really all you see is the skin.
Yeah, you look like you look like you have no neck when you're sitting on the black on black. But the camera panned and I was like, holy fuck, the boy looks big today. The boy looks jacked. Yeah. So
thank you, brother.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's speaking of the boy, it's our young boy's birthday today. It's our boy Marty's birthday today. We're going to have to maybe give him a little gears, give him whatever. But how are you today, brother? I'm excited to get on with the show here this morning.
I'm good. I'm dealing with him. I'm looking at it right now. I'm dealing with a dog who,
you
know, where they sit down and they put their legs up like skis and they drag themselves, their asses on the fucking ground.
Oh, I missed the day this morning. I couldn't clean my ass, so I tried it myself. You never tried the Johnny yourself? Just put your
no, but it's two things. Number one, it means that she's uncomfortable, right? And number two, she's dragging that fucking dirty thing all over my floors everywhere. And right now she's sitting just outside the studio door of the gym, dragging it on my rubber mats. I'm like, God damn it, I don't want that. Get that thing up. So when you send me for the first piss, I got to have a look at what's going on over
here. Oh, man, our animals. Man, I love my dogs. I just love, I don't know about you, Johnny. As I get older, do you find yourself finding a little more affinity with the dogs? Like, do you find yourself getting closer or just the simpler things in life? You just appreciate your dogs more? Or because I know I've always loved, I'm a dog. I love my animals. I always have, but I find as I get older, I feel even more connected to them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, totally. I agree with that 100%. And the fact that I've got so I have two right now. I have the big boy. He's both pits.
Yes.
The big boy is like 90-pound pit, maybe a little less because he's getting older.
Oh, yeah.
But when we picked him, he was the first out of the litter, right? And he did some pretty fucking amazing things in terms of just showing us he was smart. like things that his litter mates couldn't do.
Oh yeah.
And as he gets older, it's fucking nuts, dude. I mean, it's like
intellect.
oh fuck. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things like most dogs know words. He knows an amazing amount of words. But what I'm getting at is that when he wants something,
Yeah.
he'll sit in front of you. Even my daughters, they go away and they come back and they're like,
yeah.
It's like I feel like he's looking into my soul because he makes eye contact with you and he's communicating. It's fucking nuts, dude.
It's awesome. I know with obviously I got my English and I got my Palm. You know, they're very much the opposite of each other. But man, I use these words, especially with my Palm. I use words eyes, and I've taught her right since day one, Johnny, where I say eyes, and I use the word eyes, and I point at my eyes like this. I go eyes, and I hear her like this, and she looks at me, Johnny.
She understands.
She understands. And just by my facial expression, right? Whether I have a smile on my face, the tone of my voice, she understands it. It's awesome, man. It's just incredible how much I understand.
How big is the Pomeranian?
Oh, 7 pounds. Like just
like this?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I told Terry once we're done with these two big fuckers, you know, where if she wants another dog, it's got to be one that she can put into a purse.
That was exactly Lauren, Johnny. You know, we during the pandemic, we got caught up in some of the housewives bullshit and we watched some of that stuff on TV. You know, they had the Pomeranians there and so forth. And I always said I wouldn't get a Pom because I love my English bully. I've had 2 English bullies. I love my bully. But Lauren's like, I want to get a Pom, I want to get a little one. Greatest decision we made, brother. Greatest decision. She's so fun. She's actually a living teddy bear. Right. So when you're a big man, I'm a medium-sized man, little man, but just this little teddy bear carrying it around, or I go into my shops and I have this little teddy bear under my arm. And she's so sweet, man.
Well, she can go, and the thing I like about the idea behind it is that she can go anywhere. You know, like right now when we go places, like for example, you know, we've not this weekend, next week, we got to go up to Oregon.
Yeah.
To for my brother's middle son who passed for his celebration of life.
Okay. Yes.
And
yes.
For these 2 big fucking dogs to be gone for 4 days and board them, you know, it's $150 a night to board these 2 fucking dogs.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then it's like, I mean, it's just kind of, I guess what I'm getting at is that it's just there's a lot to taking care of these big fuckers because they can't just go with you everywhere.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I would say that my dogs certainly have an effect on my ability to travel, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I love my animals, and I need to have them cared for when I travel, and that just doesn't mean sticking them in a kennel somewhere, or I need to have.
Well, and that's the problem. You stick them in a kennel, it's like it's like, fuck, it just doesn't feel good.
I won't do it. No. And I've made this joke with you on the show before where I want to create wealth so I can buy an airplane. Why? So I can take my dogs with me. And I mean, it's
dude, they're fucking literally building a landing strip right outside of our neighborhood on the property, because with the homeowners has a huge fucking plot of land. Because people, you know, where everybody here is fairly well off, and some people are wanting to fly in from like where they're coming in from, like Huntington, or where they're actually building a landing strip. I can see it I'll be able to watch the planes coming from my front door.
Well, that's my motivation, because I don't want to stick my dogs in a cargo haul. I don't want to stick them in a well, I want to take them on the plane with me. I want them to sit with me. I want them to go, because then I'm not. If my dogs are with me, then I'm not stressed. I feel, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I'm wired that way.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm the same. I like to have them with me, but in the event that I need to have them, right, where it's easier not to have them, or maybe better for them not to have them.
Yes.
Because in this trip I'm talking about, we're going to be gone. They like being in a hotel room, but I'm not good with that if we're not going to be frequenting that hotel room.
Of course.
So anyway, you know, funny up on the plane, bro. Listen, bro, this is good shit, because because when we get a plane, we're buying back our time.
That's exactly it. So Cuban said, right? When Mark Cuban was company, he's like, he bought an airplane to buy himself time.
But a helicopter, that's something I've been looking into, because it's number one, you need, like, I could land that fucker in my front fucking yard.
Yes, you
know
could.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And they're cheaper.
That's right, baby.
That's right, baby. And they're actually cheaper in terms of like a first, because I've never had an aviation vehicle before.
Yes.
You know, that they say that the helicopter is actually a good first step.
Yeah, go get yourself a helicopter. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Marty. Mr. Birthday Boy, how are you, brother?
I'm amazing, man. How you doing?
I love that answer. I knew you'd be amazing because you're nothing short of amazing every single day. So today you're just extra amazing. The 32-year-old Christopher Martin. Johnny, I got to say, he's looking even more handsome this morning. Man, you're aging just like a fine piece of wine there, Martin.
You know, they say black don't crack, man.
I so agree with you. So agree. And I'm sure Marty feels the same way. But you know what's really weird, Marty, is that as you get older, you're not going to, right now, I'm sure you're just like I was. You just see yourself as a fucking handsome dude. You know what I mean? Period. Right? That's how I felt when I was your age. But as I get older, I don't resonate with the handsome part so much. Not that I'm not handsome. It's just kind of weird how our values of ourselves change. You know, so enjoy that part you're in right now, brother. Because at some point it might start to slip away. Not that you'll slip, it might slip.
I see what you're trying to say. Yeah. Basically, enjoy your youth is what you're saying.
That's it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's exactly it. Good morning, Adam Holroyd. Good to see you there in the comments. Good morning, Ubeg. Good morning, Hey Gabe, Nialia, all you guys there. You're with myself, John Anderson, and C. Marty Fit. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Speaking of aging, boys, I really wasn't expecting to throw this on the table, but since you guys brought it up, I got to throw it.
So he's cutting himself some slack right now. You hear that shit?
Doctors reveal simple way, Marty. Simple way. Jimmy, here's the hook. Doctors reveal simple way to reverse penis shrinkage that affects men as they age.
Here we go.
And this is relevant, Marty, because I got older on the weekend, man. I turned 53 on Saturday, and got up for a piss today, and I looked down. I was like, oh, I see I'm older today.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
For 26% of men who are unhappy about their penis size, here's one thing you can do. In 2023, they did a study, guys. 4,000 and 1,100 men were sampled in a study showing that approximately almost 27% were dissatisfied with their size of their penis in the United States. And Dr. Arkady Limnaski has revealed one way you can apparently reverse penis shrinkage as we get older, Johnny and Marty. And his comment is actually quite straightforward, quite simple. It's full of cliche, but the reality is his comment is this, and it goes right into our topic today, fitness focus and friendships. Marty, make sure you maintain a healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy food, drink less alcohol, especially beer, because beer drops the testosterone. And anything you're doing that's going to work against that, you are going to have penis shrinkage, apparently. And his other comment is you might want to focus on doing some pelvic exercises and so forth. And here's the thing, Johnny, why they shrink over time is because of the food we're putting in our bodies.
I was going to say, because I'm going to bust this thing up. I mean, I mean, I'm not sitting here like I measure this thing, but I could pretty much guarantee my shit's not shrinking.
Yeah. Well, so bang.
And if you think about it, does it make sense if it would? Think of it like an air balloon. You blow up a fucking air balloon, you blow that thing up 100,000 times, it's going to be the sack is going to be bigger. It's going to have, the ability to hold more air. Well, every time you get a stiffy, think of it like that. If it's being worked, that thing should continue to evolve.
Blood vessel damage, the biggest issue we have as men as we get older, by the food we're putting in our body. These tissues can become deprived of oxygen, nutrients causing shrinkage. So, if you got cardiovascular disease, if you get diabetes, all this stuff is going to restrict blood flow around the body, including the penis. Apparently, and reality is it causes it to look smaller than it is. So
hold on. You want to hear about blood vessel damage?
Yeah.
Right now,
Fontana, we're talking penis, Fontana. Oh, Fontana.
Yeah. So Marty, this is. I was a little younger than you when this happened, but I figured from the youngster, you got to learn a lesson from this.
So, here we go, Marty.
I don't know how I was in college, so call it 22, and I'm thinking I'm all that, and I'm with this chick, and we're doing it in doggy, right? And I'm trying to be the man, and I'm trying to really, get down and bust her hard.
Yeah.
My shit slips out. And when I go to jam it back in, hits her square in a butt cheek.
Oh my goodness. Broke
Literally just completely just torqued it. and I was like, I actually heard a crack, like I cracked my knuckle.
Oh
But
my
it wasn't my knuckle. And I'm getting almost a little worked up as I just think about this. Anyway, so I knew something was wrong, and I grabbed it, and I was like, I felt this fucking weird, I guess you'd say like a bump, like deep on the shaft, way down, like inside the scrotum. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I was so kind of off my rocker. I like tried to put it back in her. Right? I was like, I was still trying to be. I didn't even get that thing a quarter of the way in, and it was like sharp fucking shooting pains in that little bump that I had on the side. So,
dude.
So I kind of tell her, I say, hey, you know, I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. You know, had to be honest.
Yeah.
I wake up. My fucking scrotum, my nutsack was like the size of a fucking cantaloupe.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We're talking like this. And I woke up and I was like, of course you're waking up and you're in that voice, your head's going fucking nuts. That little thing on my shaft was a broken blood vessel. And it fucking bled into my fucking scrotum. Into my nutsack. So that's why it was swole up like that. So of course I went to the fucking doctor. And of course I draw on campus, I draw a lady fucking doctor. I'm like, this is fucking great. So I drop my fucking pants and she looks at it and she kind of knew what happened. You know, she said, well, let me guess this, you know, this, you told the nurse this happened during sex. It must have happened. And you probably bent it somehow. And I said, that's exactly what happened. She said, well, you know, and I told her I felt that little bump. She said, okay, that's the broken blood vessel. It bled into your scrotum. The next morning, it's the same fucking size, but now it's fucking turning color. By the third morning, it was black.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
It was fucking crazy, dude. And so
I knew you were black, Johnny.
Dude, at the biggest point, the crazy part was it was like it was taking up so much fucking space. You know, my fucking shaft looked like it was about that fucking long because so much of it was eaten up inside the fucking. That makes sense. That's how big this thing was. And I couldn't fucking walk. I was laid up in my fucking dorm room for about 4 days.
Jesus.
She said what would happen was once the bleeding stops, you wanted me to do nothing. You know, no sex, no lifting weights. I'm like, Jesus, you're taking away my fucking core of my life here.
I know you're driving you crazy.
So, but I had to lay in bed and do nothing, and the body literally just kind of got rid of it. But fucking talk about blood vessel damage. Now we understand what blood vessel damage is all about.
Oh my God.
You know what I appreciate about this conversation, Johnny?
It's a good story, Johnny. That's actually a good story.
It is.
So the lesson is if you go to jam it in and it fucking bends and you hear a pop, fucking don't continue. Go straight to the ER.
Don't continue if you hear the pop. What I appreciate about this conversation is that I gotta think, Johnny and Marty, that this happens. I don't know about frequently, but it happens to men around the world, but nobody talks about it. Like nobody has conversations.
Well, you know, well, I mean, it's like saying this obviously out loud is one thing. It was just hopefully help somebody.
Yeah.
But it's almost got me fucking worked up inside just thinking about it because it was a scary fucking thing.
Well, sure it would be. And
you know, it's like recanting. You know, if somebody broke into your house as you know, and you're 5 years old, you remember a robber breaking your house, you relive that. You know, I just got fucking startled telling that story.
I can imagine. Man.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it was like, but you got to remember, this is perfect because it stems from Marty being the young handsome man and me saying, "Oh, handsome will go away." But right at that point, handsome is so important, especially at 22, so important to us. Right? Then being a fucking getting down in the sack, so important to us, right? Lifting weights, or at least for me, so important. And all of a sudden, in one fucking evening, it's all fucking gone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let's go to the accountability check-in. We're going to come back with a bunch of other topics. We're going to let Johnny digest that moment he's having in his head from a past experience when you might have broke the shaft. Hey, Fontana, what's going on, brother? Good to see you there in the comments. Great to see you there. Fontana, it's Marty's birthday today. Not Curtis, Marty's. Yeah, Marty's birthday today. Yeah, we're celebrating Marty today. We're going to ask Marty what he's up to today on his birthday. But listen, some of the best decisions you'll ever make, they're the ones that feel right to you. Not because they check a box, not because they make everyone else happy, but because they reflect who you truly are. Yeah, Fontana. Happy birthday, Charlie. You can show up for others and stay true to yourself, but here's how. You can share what's on your heart, even if it's messy. You can stay open to different perspectives. You can celebrate others while honoring your own path. But real kindness includes yourself too. So I invite yourself, go look in the mirror today. Be kind to yourself first before you're kind to somebody else. When you're kind to yourself, focusing on your fitness, focusing on yourself, focusing on those friendships. What a great way to live your life. Get up, get after, don't hit the snooze button, and ask yourself, what's one way you can honor yourself today? Fontana, what's one way you're going to honor yourself today? Send me a text. What are you doing today, brother? What's one thing you're going to do to take care of yourself, your mental fortitude, your big goals this morning? Hey, I'm your host, Keith Billis. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. This is our accountability check-in. A little bit of accountability discussion to put in your ears as you guys get through your day here. We drop it every single day here at 8:15 Eastern Time. The only morning show, the big show for men. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, boys, let's keep it rolling here. So I found something this morning in the lab that, yes, Fontana, get after, brother. Get some meditation in today. Good seeing you, Clody. Good seeing you in the comments there. Hey, boys, Johnny, I know you're a coffee guy. Marty, I know you're a coffee guy. Are you guys into teas at all? Do you guys drink tea?
Not really.
No?
Yeah,
any interest in tea?
I dig tea.
Yeah. So
yeah,
according to a recent study by Northwestern University, brand new breaking today, the simple act, Johnny, you'll like this, man. The simple act of brewing tea can effectively remove toxic metals like lead and cadmium from drinking water, potentially offering an accessible method to mitigate health risks associated with water contamination.
Well, you gotta get the water thing straight, man. You can't. It's unfortunately we can't be drinking fucking tap water anymore.
Yeah, it's true. Black tea, Johnny and Marty, showed slightly higher metal compound capacity due to its finer grind and large surface area. Cellulose tea bags outperform cotton and nylon bags, and loose leaf teas were tested alongside bag variations. While the researchers don't recommend using tea as a primary water filtration method, these findings suggest, though, that regular tea consumption could contribute to reducing heavy metal over time, particularly in areas with contaminated water sources. But here's the thing. The effectiveness, John, Marty, of tea in removing heavy metals from water varies depending on several factors. Longer brewing durations resulted in greater metal removal with a 5-minute steep. Here's the great stat that I thought was interesting. A 5-minute steep, boys, reduced lead concentrations by about 15%. Steep your tea. Don't be afraid to steep your tea. And Ricky Clody's coming in more in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's so I thought that was quite interesting. So that's some news breaking this morning. Steep your tea, guys. When you steep your tea, you might remove some heavy metals from your tea. Hey guys, I got a question for both of you. Since we're talking some fitness, focus, and friendships today, so I think this is a conversation that comes up for debate because I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way. Although Johnny, you're going to say there's a right way. Marty, you're going to say there's a right way. And I'm going to try to find a way to articulate this on the show here visually from both you guys. But how to grip a barbell?
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
I've been hook gripping for fucking 25 years.
I know you have. Yeah. So talk about that. Talk about how to properly grip a barbell. Because I don't know if everybody knows how to properly grip a barbell. Because
here's the thing. Check this out.
A lot of injuries probably come from incorrectly gripping. Am I correct?
I don't know. Here's what happens is real quick, just so everybody knows how advanced a hook grip is.
Yeah.
I always taught all of my athletes that I was training for the higher level for D1 what hook grip was, because when his grip got tired, he could hook grip and keep going. Right? Usually the grip would be one of the first things to give out. And a hook grip is basically where you take your thumb.
Yes.
Try to put it in a way where you can see it.
Yes.
And so here's the bar. You're basically the hook grip is where you're grabbing your thumb. That's the hook. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So you can't get all if you can get 2 fingers on the hook, you're pretty good. You can grab the bar with the other 2, but they're not doing much, right? So their coaches would go, you know how to hook grip. Like they were the only ones that knew how to hook grip. That's how advanced it used to be.
Really?
Now it's become a little bit more excuse me, now it's become a little bit more popular, so people know how to do it. But the good old consistency gets in the way, because here's the thing: a hook grip is going to put a lot of pressure on this right here.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
and so when you do it consistently enough, like when I was hook gripping a lot, my thumb was fucking way down here. It had gotten longer. That makes sense, because it basically pulls all of these tendons and all this shit fucking lengthens out. And then when you stop doing it, it goes back. So when people say they hurt themselves with a hook grip, largely it's because they're barely able to fucking get around the bar, and they're getting most of the pressure on their thumb, on their fingernail. And so it's like an injury. No. Does it hurt? Yes. So do you got to fucking work past that point where it fucking hurts? Yes. Most people never get there.
So what's the benefit of the hook grip, Johnny? Let's play with me for a second. I'm determined to get good at the hook grip. Why?
Well, the reason you would use a hook grip would be if you were, really goes back to Olympic lifting. Olympic lifting.
Wondering. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Because in Olympic lifting, you're basically taking, like some of the super heavyweights back when they were crossing the 500-pound barrier. They come off the ground with that. They're exploding off the ground, and they need every little bit of inertia. So if the grip loosens a little bit, it's basically slowing that speed, that power up. So when you hook grip, there's no slippage. You're not losing anything. That makes sense. On a deadlift, you can do a baseball grip. You can do, under over, which means it won't slip. But Olympic lifting, that doesn't work. So ultimately, a hook grip is to basically make your grip stronger at whatever capacity, whether it's for like a heavy single, or even if you're doing, say, sets of 10, like people that use a double over grip for deadlifts. Yes. If they're not using straps, their grip's going to wear out. Well, boom, hook grip. Now you're good to go.
So I had AJ Marty teaching me Olympic lifting back when I was doing some big lifts at Focus with AJ. Johnny, I sucked at it, man. My coordination, honestly, I did a clean one time, and the fucking bars slipped out of my hand, fucking crushed on my thigh and marked me all up. And I know, just part and parcel. But
well, brother, just so you know, everybody fucking sucks at that shit. When I'm teaching somebody to do a power clean, I will have them do, it's called a clean pull. For 30 fucking days. You can't do anything. You want to learn this? Okay. You're going to clean pull different fucking rep ranges for 30 days. If you're good at that clean pull, I'll let you go to the next step.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the foundation. If you prayer of doing the rest.
Yeah. I struggle with it. And you know what I struggle with, boys? Here's a funny thing. Lauren laughs at me all the time. I don't know about you guys. I am so uncoordinated when I have to mirror somebody. So let me give you an example, Marty. So Marty, if you were teaching me something on the camera, like if you were doing you're teaching me on the camera, you're saying, Keith, do this, like do this exercise or do this yoga move or something. I am unable to follow you. I'm so uncoordinated. I'm a fucking loser when it comes to big time. I can see that. I cannot coordinate myself in front of the camera, in front of a mirror with somebody.
Well, but keep in mind, brother, there's just because you're not good at that means you're good at another way. You just have to understand what that way is and invest yourself there.
That's fair. Hey, Marty, so today's your big birthday, brother. Before we get to the fit tip, what are you doing today, pal? What are you doing with what's going on in your world today? I know you're going to work today, but what's going on in your world today?
It's a regular day, man. It's another loop, baby.
It's funny how it works as we get older, right? Especially men.
Yeah. Right. But I got some stuff going on this weekend, but as far as today, nothing special.
Yeah.
And I did. We went out with mom over this past weekend, and and then got some stuff with my friends this upcoming weekend. So
fun. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so let's do the fit tip, and then when we come back, I got something for you guys. Here's a question for everybody to hang on to. Warren Buffett says this one simple everyday habit sets successful people apart from the other person that doesn't. We're going to leave that as a hook. Marty's going to do the fit tip. We're going to come back and answer.
I bet you that is so fucking simple. It will blow people's minds.
Yeah. We're going to leave it. Marty,
I got to roll after, so I would do want to hear that before I roll, if possible.
Let's do the fit tip.
All right, bet. All right, cool.
Simple one. Let's do it. All right, get after Marty.
Let's get it, baby. All right, we got the fitness tip for today. Now, when you're working out, you can get bored. I understand you can get bored. You shouldn't get bored, because we're not there for fun necessarily. But if you do get bored, one thing you can do, you can always change your grip, kind of what we just talked about, or you could change your foot placement just to add a little razzle dazzle to the workout. I'll explain. If I'm doing bent over rows, you can do overhand grip, switch it to underhand grip, put some emphasis on the biceps and the forearms. If I'm doing squats, you can elevate your heels. You can do a wide stance like a sumo squat, or you could do close stance and put some emphasis on your quads. So you're going to hit different parts of the muscle. If I'm doing bench press, you can go wide grip, you can go neutral grip, you can go close grip to put some emphasis on those triceps, but there's always something new you could do in the gym, right? You're never going to run out of ways to challenge your body. And when you challenge your body in new ways, guess what? Probably going to get better results, newer results. And who doesn't want that? So don't complain that you're getting bored in the gym. Let's try some new stuff. Let's mix it up, add some razzle dazzle, and let's keep this work. Let's keep getting this work in. And that's the fitness tip for today.
The razzle dazzle attitude, the voice inflection changes. It's like Marty's on the table, man. And Marty, we got Jim Fontana coming in asking you a question.
Let me see what he said.
Jim,
is she part of the V-Day?
you mentioned Keisha yesterday. Is she part of it?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I like that Jimmy Fontana is paying attention to our show, though, Jimmy. I appreciate you. We're just gonna keep changing names for Joe to Jim. Marty, I know you got to rock and roll, and as Johnny's getting back into the saddle here, I teased this before the break, which was Warren Buffett says one simple everyday habit sets successful people apart. And Marty, I think we've gotten to know Johnny long enough that I suspect he knows the answer to this, but I'm going to put it on the table. Marty, what do you...
Hold on. Look at Joe's comment. I'm sorry, Keith.
Keep the dick away from the Keisha. Focus on Keisha instead. Oh, Fontana. I think Fontana's due for
this guy's crazy.
Oh, man. You just know he's from New York, just the way that he talks.
Definitely a New Yorker, man.
Exactly correct, yeah. So this one simple everyday habit, Marty, what do you think? Yes, Fontana, true story. What do you think is this one simple habit, Marty? And it's not as complex as you think. What do you think it is, brother?
Do the same shit every day.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's going to be something like that.
It is. Johnny, what do you think it is? Because, Johnny, you know the answer, brother. You do it all the time.
I mean, they're God damn. I mean, I can think of 10. But, I mean, the one that, I mean, I don't know that this is it, but I think that I don't know. I mean, my first thing that came to mind was having a set bedtime.
Oh, okay. Well, kind of close. Fontana, what are you guessing, brother? Here's what it is. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no.
Oh,
almost
shit. Because what was the original thing you said? Because as you started laying out the answer, it was almost like my mind started going a different way. What did you originally say?
Yeah, Warren Buffett says this one simple everyday habit sets successful people apart. I should have listened to that a little. I should have listened to that a little bit deeper. Yeah, but saying no is absolutely necessary. When I read this, I thought of you, Anderson, because you are the no king, and I mean that with a compliment, actually. Because as Buffett says, at first glance, this quote might seem counterintuitive, as you often associate success with taking on more opportunities. But when you say no, you're prioritizing the importance on what's really important, Marty.
Dude, those are my superpowers. I will do what other people will not do, and I'm really fucking good at saying no.
Yeah, I know you are.
Take those away from me, and I ain't got shit.
Marty. And it sounds simple, but when you say no, you got to realize you're going to piss some people off, right? You're going to rub some people the wrong way. You're going to offend some people, but that's what it takes. That's part of the process.
Yeah, saying no helps you prioritize your time, because it says to me, as perhaps your client, as your customer, as your friend, that time's really important to you and you value it, so that when you're going to spend time with me, that we're going to value that time collectively because time is not plentiful. It also allows you to focus on, and I love this word, boys, we talk about all the time in the show, intentional decision making. I got two choices to make. Putting my time.
Even if you're not good at making intentional decisions, by saying no to one thing is indirectly saying yes to something else.
That's exactly right.
So if you say no enough, if you're only good at saying no, there's only a few things left. And if you're not a lazy fucker and you're actually investing yourself into those things, you literally, it's almost like you're intentional by default.
Yes. Well, and what I like about when you say no is it allows you to obsess over what you want to say yes to, right? And when you obsess over a customer, over a client, over a situation, when somebody else isn't obsessing over it, it sets you apart. It absolutely sets you apart. So, Marty, as you go through your day today, brother, your birthday day today, all the permission in the world, my brother, to say no constantly. Nope. Exactly right.
I'm always ready.
that'll absolutely set you apart. So I thought that was an interesting, just a comment to throw on the table here because I think we're so quick to say yes. Entrepreneurs are quick to say yes. I'm quick to say yes, but saying that yes has more of a negative impact than it does when we actually say no along the way. So I thought that was a good conversation for us to throw on the table here. Marty, you gonna roll out of here, brother?
Yeah, man. Joe's crazy. Man.
I know. I see that Fontana is talking about his lovely wife there when she's saying the no king. All right, listen. Let's talk about fitness, focus, and friendships. The triple threat. Marty's gonna get out of here. Johnny and I are gonna keep the conversation going. Marty, you have yourself a good birthday.
Yeah, tell AJ I said what up, man.
Yes, I will. 100%. I will.
Happy birthday, Marty. Have a good look, brother.
Thank you, man. See y'all tomorrow, man.
All right.
Yep.
Johnny, let's talk about the powerful trio that's transforming men's lives. It's this idea of fitness, focus, and friendships. Individually, each offers significant benefits, but when you combine them, they become an unstoppable force for enhancing overall wellness and fulfillment. I know that as I went through my journey in life, Johnny, again, we're same age, it took me a long time to figure this part out, that it's all three things, whether I was head down in fitness or head down on focusing on the business or avoiding friendships along the way. I don't mind being a solo operator. I like being in my own space. I don't need a big group of friends. I know very much you're the same way, but there's something to be said that when you put the three together, the fitness, the focus, and the friendships, it really does create compounding benefits for men, specifically for men. Right, when AJ comes in here, I'm going to talk a little about some of the loneliness challenges that us men are having. But Johnny, enhancing mental resilience, reducing stress, improving that physical health and longevity, and those stronger emotional bonds and supportive communities. When you hear me mention this triple threat for men that brings us together and helps us succeed in life, what comes to mind for you, brother?
To me, it just goes back to the way that men behaved before all this fucking distraction got put into our worlds. That makes sense?
It does.
I mean, it's like if you remove all the shit that we deal with, you remove take social media away, men would basically get together, they would have friendship, they would focus, and usually there would be some sort of a physical activity involved. How often do you hear about people going to play basketball, and group? There used to be much more of this, and it's almost like our current world kind of strips us from the shit that we just would normally do, but now we're not, and we're suffering because of it, and most people don't even realize it's happening.
Yeah. Jimmy, I see AJ sitting in the green room there. Let's bring AJ in if he's ready to have this conversation with us. We're talking the triple threat here this morning. What's up, Zeglin?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, brought you a
What's
little.
up, AJ?
We traded in Johnny. We traded in Marty for AJ. We traded in the black 32-year-old dude for the old 42-year-old dude here. Yeah, it's exactly it.
Hey, did I miss that question somehow, or did I not? Was I not on moving the right direction with that question?
I just started actually. No, you answered.
Sometimes you'll ask a question, and I'll kind of take it in a slightly different direction, which is not leading you away from where you want to go.
Not at all, man. This is great because I want to have a conversation on this. So, AJ, today's main topic is really about the men's triple threat, right? Fitness, focus, and friendships. And I don't know, in my experience, and I'm wondering about your experience as you meet with your clients and you meet with athletes around the world, if men are really good today of those three things, or if in your experience, we're good at the fitness part, but we're shitty at focus, or we're good at fitness and friendships, but we're bad at the other one. Is it a common thread, AJ, where the men you're hanging out with, the men you're talking to, like this triple thread is really what sets somebody apart? Does that make sense to the question I'm asking?
Yeah, no, I think each one of those things individually are great, but obviously collectively, when you put them together, are really beneficial. I would say we all always have room for growth in every area, right? So there's always things that we could be doing better. But if we have that awareness that those things are important and we try to prioritize them and always do our best and trying to trying to work and develop in those areas, and obviously we're in the right place, right? The biggest one that I would notice is probably in the friendship part, right? That I see men as they age, some of their meaningful close friendships kind of drop off, and they reduces in numbers or in the amount that they talk to each other or spend quality time with one another. That there's usually a reduction in that, and I see the focus and the fitness, because that's something you can do on your own too, right? Like you're improve your focus and improve your fitness. You're not trying to coordinate schedules and get people together, and so oftentimes it's the friendship one that I would see people struggle with the most, right? To stay on top of.
Yeah. Johnny?
Yeah. And I keep going back to the fact, like when I look at my, the people that I call good friends, like the people that I tell that I love, right? There was a focus, right? There was some sort of a, working out or athletic or goal involved that created the bond of that friendship. And so I think that these pieces have been, again, like I was saying in the beginning, I think we've become so distracted. We're not using our time to go, we're not having those groups like we used to have. Like think back 20 years ago, there was all sorts of fucking groups of people doing shit, because now there's so much competition for our attention.
Yes.
And that competition is so much fucking easier to just pick up your phone and be occupied, versus when that didn't exist. I got to get in the car. I got to drive 15 minutes to meet my men's group where we XYZ physically together. Well, that's a bond. That's a friendship. That's a focus. And this shit is fucking vanishing like a goddamn fart in the wind. Like, for example, myself, I am good with the focus and working out part, but I don't have as much time with my friends doing it. And that kind of sucks. There's a void for sure. Some of the best times of my life was when I was bleeding with one of my buddies, so to speak, working on a goal.
I found some recent research. I don't have it in front of me here. I need to find it up for a future episode. But AJ, as society has aged and changed, men are spending less time in men's groups. Men are spending less time at churches, and men are spending less time in the gyms together because of internet culture and Instagram culture. It's a thing, AJ, where men are somewhat feeling lost, it seems like, in 2024 as we go forward.
Yeah, for sure. And when you think about it, a lot of us, we got to spend time. I got to spend a lot of time with men growing up because I played sports, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, that's done at some point, whether that's when you finish high school, when you finish university, when you finish your pro career, when you finish whatever. And all of a sudden there's this large gap now to fill, right? Because you used to have so much great quality time with this great group of men. And obviously you had some common interests and because you're playing the same sport together or whatever, but it definitely leaves a void, right? And it's tough to fill. I can tell you, we just had this last summer or this last fall, at the Bison homecoming game where I played university football, University of Manitoba. We had a reunion for our 2001 team, so
wow.
which in my mind, it feels like that's 3 years ago, but so we're walking onto the field, seeing each other again. Some of these guys seeing them for the first time in like 20 something years. Man, it was amazing to just be able to walk on and see someone you haven't seen in 20 years that you used to share the field with and the locker room with and the weight room with, and just give each other a hug and like instantly
That
in
bond is there forever. It's
Yeah.
there forever.
You're 5 seconds. It's like you never left that field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're standing out there together, shooting the shit, talking, and just being like, oh man, how much great value did this add to my life when it was in my life? Sometimes you don't even appreciate it at the time, right?
What's the solution, boys? What's the solution to this for men? Is it we hear about these problems. Men are spending less time together, men are spending less time going to church, spending less time on sports teams. What is the simple solution, AJ? Is there a simple solution, or is it just us continuing to put these topics on the table to encourage other men and create shows and create conversations like this to bring men together? Is it as simple as that, AJ?
So I think there's a couple parts. Yeah, part of it is the awareness. Like, it's great that we're talking about it, right? There's not a dude that would listen to this conversation right now that wouldn't relate to it. Everyone would be like, "Oh my God, yes."
You're so right.
Or they would look. They would kind of reflect back and be like, "Yeah, man, I haven't seen this guy in forever. Talked to this guy in forever. I wish I saw them more." And so part of it is that awareness. And then, like most things in life, it comes down to a certain amount of effort.
Yes.
Right? You've got to.
Yes.
But there has to be, no different than the success of a team. If you look at your group of friends, there's a shared responsibility, right? So everyone involved kind of has to admit that they care, right? Like,
Yes.
I got to be willing to admit that I care to my buddies and be like, hey man, it's important that I see you. Like, I love you guys. You guys are important to me. It's important that we get together.
Yes.
Like, and I have to admit that I care, right? And I have to kind of put that out there, that it's a priority, that I want to make sure that in our busy lives, with our responsibilities, with our families and our work and all those other things going on, that we still try to make time to get together. So, I mean, and sometimes you combine the two, right? Tomorrow morning, I got a group of buddies that it's been too long since we've seen each other. We're getting together tomorrow morning at 10 for a deep cheek day.
Oh,
together.
there you go.
There we go, baby. Yeah, just get together for a squat day. That's beautiful.
So now you kind of put two together, right? It's like, okay, well, we know we all work out at some point in our day. So can we coordinate our workouts even just for one day here, so we could do it at the same time? So there's that fitness piece that you were talking about earlier at the beginning.
Yes.
And then here's also us with that like awesome quality time with each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, let's be productive with our time and put those two things together, because the workout's going to happen anyway. So let's try to periodically get together with one another and train together, right?
Oh, I love this. Hey, you're talking with Keith, AJ, and John Anderson this morning, the producer Jimmy on the buttons here. We're talking fitness, focus, and friendships. AJ, let's do this. We're going to get Johnny up for the lifestyle tip, and then we come back. I found something I thought we could have some fun talking about this morning. And AJ, I was thinking about you when I put this on the table. And much of it comes from even what happened on Friday in the theater of the world. And I'm titling this Conversational Debt.
Yeah.
The hidden cost of words left unsaid.
Okay.
Right. And how the power. So, and I learned something as I went through my divorce with my lawyer, and I'll never forget this. And I live it to this day. If you're going to be a part of a conversation and you're going to say something that doesn't move the conversation forward, what's the point of even saying it?
Right.
But some might say, well, then those words being left unsaid might create some conversational debt. Those words need to be said.
Right.
Let's come back to that. Johnny, let's get a lifestyle tip. And let's come back to conversations and how, because this even leans back to men, because you might go to your meeting tomorrow, AJ, with the boys, and something might come up in the conversation where some guy's not thinking about saying something, and then it just accumulates over time, and then it blows up in the future. So I love this idea of conversational debt. We saw it down at the White House on Friday, right? Things were said, things weren't unsaid, but this idea of conversational debt and the hidden cost of words left unsaid. Jimmy, let's do lifestyle tip. We'll come back with this conversation. We'll keep it rolling here. Johnny, you're up.
If you're having trouble getting to the gym regularly, this message may be for you. Here's the thing. If you think about reasons not to go to the gym, you're going to find reasons not to go to the gym. Versus if you think about reasons you should go to the gym, you're going to find reasons to go to the gym. So the message is simple. Don't allow yourself, or if you do find yourself thinking about the reasons that you shouldn't go, catch yourself, flip the script, and start thinking about the reasons you should go. Because ultimately, we are going to get what we think about. So you got to ask yourself a simple question. Are you not getting to the gym because your life has just taken a quick turn and something happened at work and you couldn't go? Or are you not going to the gym because you're thinking about the reasons why you shouldn't? And ultimately your brain finds it and you make the decision not to go. This tip might just be the one that helps you get to the gym consistently, because remember, you're going to get what you think about. Rock and roll.
It is. Get after it today. People's priorities in check. We are talking with AJ Zeglin on this Mind Fuel segment. Myself, John Anderson. We're going to get into conversation on conversational debt. Conversational debt, AJ, accumulates when we avoid or poorly handle difficult discussions. Like financial debt, the cost of unaddressed conversations compounds over time. Alignment debt occurs when we settle for surface agreements, and belonging debt builds when we prioritize harmony over honesty in our relationships. AJ, when you hear conversational debt as an expert with dealing with men and humans and athletes and females with mental performance and so forth, what do you think of when you hear about conversational debt and how it can come back and backfire and bite us in the ass?
Yeah, it's an interesting term, right? I kind of like the term. I've never heard of it, described that way before. But basically, it would be coming back to. I always tell people that stress has to go somewhere.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Stress has to go somewhere. So if we're in the gym and we work out and our technique is really, really poor, right? It might overly stress an area of the body and we're more susceptible to injury then, right? But if we take an extremely heavy weight, but we have great form, right? And we're able to activate the muscles properly and execute with great form, then that stress gets evenly distributed throughout all the joints and the muscles and the tissue that's working to move that weight. And we can move that really heavy weight safely. So we could support a heavy load, right? Mm-hmm. So outside of the gym in life, we carry stress. Stress is just a part of life, right? And if we have the proper tools, and then we're able to evenly distribute that stress so we can handle it, right?
Yes.
Because we're never just getting rid of it. It's part of life, right? So yes. I would kind of attribute this idea of conversational debt to how we manage our stress, right? Like if we're not having the courage to communicate honestly with someone, and we are just, not saying things that we want to say, or we're not being honest, we're not being vulnerable, we're not getting that out, that's going to stay inside us. Right now, we're carrying that stress. That stress is going to build to the point that it's overwhelming. And then using the gym analogy, maybe we're more susceptible to injury, right?
Yes.
But if we have the courage to communicate honestly and say what we're thinking and what we're feeling, and doing it in a productive manner, right? Now that stress, again, we've used a tool where that stress is manageable, right? It's evenly distributed now throughout the body, so you can carry the heavy load.
Johnny, like financial debt, conversational debt compounds over time, extracting an ever-increasing toll on trust, collaboration, and performance. Like AJ said, imagine, Johnny, the longer you wait to address something, the more devastating the conversation and the consequences can be, right? You're either avoiding something or you're doing it through poor handling. And I know you've been very vulnerable in our discussion over time together, where some of the challenges you've had in your personal life, Terry, but
I mean, it's so simple. Break it down to the bare minimum. I love to peel all the layers back on onion. There's going to be difficulty. There's going to be, put whatever adjective you want. It's not easy. It's hard, right? You're going to basically have to choose what type of hard you want, because you're going to deal with what's hard right in front of you and get through it, or you're going to deal with the regret of not doing it and the damage that not doing it is going to cause over time. So in my situation, and I kind of apply this to everything, I'll be much happier moving forward, doing the best I can, whether it's a conversation, whatever it is, and doing the best I can with what those consequences are, versus living with the regret and letting those because those consequences are going to get worse.
Yes. Well, it's just
so.
Like
it's a simple thing. What do you want? It's like which discomfort do you want to choose from?
Yes. Well, so, and it's that's why when I found this piece here, it's in Psychology Today. I found it quite interesting, AJ, because it's like financial debt. We avoid, and it's like, holy shit, this thing's piling up against me, right? But check out these warning signs of conversational debt that happen to all of us in all relationships. And you're going to love these, AJ, because I'm thinking when guys come into your clinic, you're like, oh yeah, right? So think about this, right? With your wife or your kids or anybody, quick agreement without meaningful discussion.
Right.
Like you think about being in business or somewhere, we just agree with no meaningful discussion, yet maybe something inside of me, AJ, is bugging me and I'm not saying it. And then over time it accumulates, right? And then I explode, right?
What about when you see someone else do it and you got to try to draw it out of them?
Yes. And I saw this often when I worked in the past in corporate business. This is a real one. Real conversations happening after official discussions.
Right.
Right. Yeah. You're in a meeting with the group, right? So the three of us are in a meeting and then everybody leaves and then we have our next meeting together.
Right.
Fuck, man. That doesn't work, right? Or the same issues that resurface month after month. And I think that's a common thing in probably marriage and partner relationships, AJ, right? Where it's a dance keeps happening. Keith and Lauren, AJ, Melissa, Johnny and Terry, it's just until we address the core issue, we're just creating that debt, aren't we, AJ? Constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're just kicking the can further down the road, right?
Yes.
And that's a terrible, that erodes your self-esteem when you do that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we've always talked about on this show, the opportunity to build evidence for ourselves that we are the person that we want to be. Right. And that we are capable of doing things. So every time we don't take that opportunity, right. And we don't have the courage to communicate openly and honestly, we're also missing an opportunity to build evidence for ourselves that we're capable of doing that, right? Because internally, we're going to know if we're expressing what we really want to express. And when we don't do that, and when we just, like you said, maybe answer really quickly just to agree and move on and not rock the boat or whatever, that we're not trying to do or whatever we're trying to avoid, then internally we know too, right? We're like, okay, maybe I'm not the person who is, stands up for my values or lives by my values because I have these opportunities and I don't take them. I don't follow through on them. I don't. Right. So I'm now missing this evidence and it can really affect like our confidence, our self-esteem. And
what I found interesting about this was, how do you break the cycle around it? Right. And addressing conversational debt begins with recognition. It's pausing and recognizing it. And again, I'll reflect upon my own experience. AJ, you were through this when I went through my divorce. It was learning that we need to take time to have conversations. So maybe today I'm not ready to have the conversation with you, AJ, but I know we have to have it. Right. Maybe I just didn't sleep well last night. Maybe I got something on my mind. Right. And that's something I really learned from my lawyer. And I learned even through selling my business and going through my divorce that there was a time process, that sometimes a conversation has to take time to happen. Where as you and I are having a conversation, maybe I'm not ready to be honest or blunt today. But maybe Wednesday, after I've had a few days to reflect upon it, I'm more able to have that blunt conversation with you. But to me, the key was being aware of it and not putting it aside. And that's what a good lawyer did for me during my divorce process. Okay, Keith, we haven't dealt with this yet.
Right.
We talked about it on Monday. We're not answering it today. I want you to think about it. Let's revisit it again on Wednesday. Are you ready to think about it today? And the next thing you know, 2 weeks have gone by. You're like, okay, I'm ready to make a decision now. But there's a high level of awareness that you have to break the cycle and then give you, if I'm a leader and I'm leading you, AJ, and a team, I got to give you the confidence that you can speak freely around me so that we can eliminate that conversational debt. That's one thing I enjoyed about, Johnny, we talked about Jeff Bezos. He's like, if we're going to a meeting that's scheduled for an hour, why is it scheduled for an hour? Because that means we're solving it in an hour. No, we should not have an end date on the meeting. The meeting should end when the problem is solved. So that meeting is going to take weeks.
Well, there's 2 minutes. It could be 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks.
Exactly. I find that fascinating because it goes back to accumulating debt and not solving the problem. Zeglin.
Right. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I kind of love that perspective of looking at it. And what you were describing just before the Bezos example there, I think is what John is always talking about in how we're, in responding instead of reacting.
Yes.
When you're going through that process, right? You were like, okay, how am I responding? Like, where's my awareness in this situation?
Yes.
I'm going to respond to these issues in my divorce or selling my business or whatever. And I understand there might be a process to it. And I might need a little bit of time to make sure that I'm responding in a way that I feel is helpful and moves us forward and is in alignment with my values and what I'm trying to accomplish and the challenge that I'm trying to work through, instead of just reacting in the moment and making these knee-jerk decisions, which obviously can really have a negative effect on us, right? So I think you're right. Like the process of responding might take time, right? And that's okay. It's okay for us to need time to reflect or think about stuff or see things from different perspectives. And I work with a lot in couples too, in counseling. And one of the things that we talk about is that if there's a tough conversation, and if one person decides that they really, like, at that exact moment, they just can't do it, like they just can't be in that conversation, or they can't whatever, it's okay to step away from the conversation, just as long as they're the person that comes back to it, right? So if we're talking, Keith, and I'm just like overwhelmed, or I just can't whatever, and I'm just like, I got to remove myself from this conversation, then you're like, okay, it's okay. But I'm the one that has to come back to you then, whether I need 5 minutes or an hour or a day or a week, I got to come back to you. And I have to make sure that I do that out of respect for you. I come back and be like, okay, I've had some time to think about it. I think I'm, in a better place now to respond to your question, Keith, in a more positive way. I was just so angry the other day. I couldn't do this or that. And as long as I'm coming back to it, we still have, that's still a great, healthy communication, right? Now, if I tell you, hey, no, I can't have this conversation right now, and I just never come back to it, that's not productive. That's now not positive. That's negative, right? That's me kind of showing you like, oh, I obviously don't care about what Keith says. I can just slough off his important conversation because it made me uncomfortable, and I just never have to revisit it, right? That's not a mutually healthy communication style in a relationship, right? But if I need to step away, that's great. I need to be the one that initiates that coming back to it.
What I found fascinating about this, boys, as I wrap this segment up, because I've went through this experience myself, is that I just think we take much of this for granted. But yet, when we treat communication as a skill worth developing, rather than just this natural ability that just happens, like, well, I'm just communicating, it just happens, we can break free from the debt spiral, meaning that there's intentional communication, intentional awareness happening, and I'm focusing, not accumulating conversation debt with you, AJ, or conversational debt with you, Johnny, or with my wife, because I have awareness around intentional communication with you. Again, back to my divorce, back to my sales of my business, right? It was knowing that there was, like, it just didn't happen. When I think upon it, there was an actual process that we actually undertook during that period. Right. Just like when a couple comes into your office, AJ, like, you guys just don't talk in a circle. There's an intention. There's questions you're asking this couple. You're taking them through a path. And again, and that's why I thought that this was fascinating to me, because we take speaking for granted. Oh, we're just talking. Well, no, but there's a way to go about it so that we don't accumulate debt. So that when we're done talking, we're fulfilled and we've arrived at a decision, or we've arrived at an outcome.
Well, I think as a person, if they do develop into a leader of any sort, I think that this just kind of eliminates itself, because you're not going to be a successful leader if this is following you around.
Yes. Well, it's interesting because I have some topics here about leadership today. I'll get to later this week. But that's exactly it. How you converse with others
because I would say a leader pulls his pants down first.
Yes.
You got to ask the uncomfortable questions. You got to make the uncomfortable statements. A leader doesn't let, it's like the whole idea of leaving a trail of fucking breadcrumbs. You got to go pick those fuckers up.
Yes.
A leader doesn't fucking trail crumbs. He there's nothing behind him. That's what makes him a fucking leader.
Conversational debt, the hidden cost of words left unsaid. Myself, AJ Zeglin, John Anderson. AJ, final words from you, brother?
Yeah, I'll just to throw in too, just on the topic of conversation, and like you said, it being a skill and us having to put effort into it. The interesting thing to think about too is based on some of the new ways that we communicate, we lose some of that natural ability, right? As we've talked about numerous times before, 55% of how we communicate is through facial expressions and body language.
Yes.
37% comes from our tone. 8% is the actual words that you're saying. So when everything happens through text and email and stuff, we've eliminated the tone, we've eliminated the body language and facial expressions. We've eliminated 92% of how we generally communicate with each other, right? And then when we get together and do it, sometimes we're not great at it. Maybe we're not great at how we present our tone in our body language. Maybe we're not great on how we read other people's tone and body language and facial expressions, because it's not something that we practice because we're not in front of each other as much as we used to be communicating, right? Like I always encourage people like, hey, if something's important, at the very least, pick up the phone and call, right? Instead of sending a text or an email. But even better, if it's an important conversation, like ask to meet up with that person, like talk face to face, like be like, so you can hear the tone, you can see the body language, you can sense the energy from each other. It's such an important tool in how we communicate with each other that just gets lost if we're just, texting.
Yeah. Text can really screw shit up.
AJ, before I let you go quickly, in your experience, AJ, I got to think most humans suck at communicating, AJ.
Well, I mean, I'll say this. In general, we all have a ton of room for improvement.
Yes.
I'll try to put the positive spin on it. So we see the opportunity for us to get better and improve. But yeah, in general, we all have an abundance of opportunity to improve in how we communicate. And that's everyone. Like I obviously work in this field. I spend a ton of time with people on how they communicate.
Yes.
And I look at myself and I reflect back on myself, how I communicate, let's say with Melissa.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, I have so much work to go into still how I communicate with my wife, I've almost been together for almost 20 years now. And I work in this, I'm educated in this, I have awareness with this, and I still have a ton of work to do in how I communicate with her, right? So like most things in life, anything good is never ending. So we have this, it's a never ending well that we can keep going back to and improving how we communicate with people. Right?
Well, it's fascinating too, AJ, is that Lauren drops on the screen here. And this is another societal thing we got to learn, right? And how about when someone's holding their phone and scrolling, typing while you're trying to talk with them, right? It comes down to that. It's social etiquette, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, totally. I try to make a point of that. Like if I go over to a friend's house, or like my phone's in my pocket, or I leave it in my jacket pocket, because I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm here to talk with you. I'm here to hang out with you. I'm here to, and I always try to have it off to the side. And who I don't do a good job about that with is actually my own wife. And I feel like I'm terrible with that. And I know I'm terrible with it. And I catch myself doing it all the time. And I should know better. But, Melissa will be talking about something. And then I'll see the little light on my phone light up. Like I got an email or a text. And I just quickly check who it is. And I'm like, why am I checking? It's not that important, right in this immediate thing. Like my wife is talking to me about something. I should be giving her my full attention at this moment.
Yep.
I got a lot of room to grow there,
Human nature. We have room for improvement in everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
Good discussion, boys. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
I love the idea of communicating, love the idea of conversations. Obviously, it's what we do here on the show here and so forth. Mr. Zegman, I appreciate you, brother. Great stuff here today, man.
Yes. Thank you, AJ.
And John, I appreciate that shirt. I didn't notice it until you did the lifestyle tip, but man, I remember jumping on criticalbench.com and just like that being like one of my main sources for like
You know,
powerlifting, like information back in the day. It was awesome.
dude, that's fucking crazy because I just pulled this shirt out of a drawer where, people send me stuff.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
pulled that out of the drawer because I love the material. It's a nice thin material. I wasn't even paying attention to what was on there.
Oh man, I remember like jumping on there with all my buddies, and we're like trying to use their percentage calculators on critical bench, and they always had 1 rep max calculators, and then trying to like, devise our next bench program based off of their calculations and blah blah. And yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, I remember critical bench.
Yeah, they were definitely a helpful tool for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were great.
Hey, Age, before you joined the show here, we were talking about hook grips, and I was telling my experience about how much I sucked at doing Olympic lifting as you were trying to teach me. And I was not very coordinated with some of those efforts along the way, but you were very patient with me. And then Johnny told me about how he was teaching his young men how to do hook grips and Olympic lifting. Right. Do you still do Olympic lifting, AJ? Do you throw it around every now and then?
So for myself, I don't do nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I still do a little bit, some like hang cleans maybe every once in a while, but not a ton. With our athletes, it really depends on the population, right? So there's kind of this niche thing. A lot of our college athletes are going to be required to in their strength and conditioning programs at college. So teaching kids before they go to college, so they're at least have a foundation set there, so they don't walk into a collegiate gym for the first time and they've never done a clean or a snatch or anything like that, can be really helpful. Or if we know they're going to be tested in those things, it can be helpful to work into their programming. On the other side, we have some of our other athletes, maybe they've been pro guys for a long time already, and they're, they've had multiple shoulder surgeries and they've broken their wrist and they've done this and that. And we just kind of look at it and I'm like, hey, what's the benefit here? If we're just looking for explosive hip extension, there's other ways I could deliver explosive hip extension into their program and not have to put them into some of these things where they're struggling, right? And sometimes it's even the length of the athlete, right? We might have someone in the gym. If I get someone in the gym for 10 weeks and they've come in, I'm trying to make them as explosive as possible. I probably want to pick something that has a lesser learning curve, right? Than Olympic lifting.
10 weeks is not enough time to get someone up to speed where they can literally understand how to use their hips in those Olympic movements.
Exactly. So if I could be like, hey, we're going to do, these jumps are plyometric. So I'm going to do this type of medicine ball throw, like these dynamic ballistic throws and stuff like that have a much less not as steep as a learning curve. And we can start drawing benefits from them earlier on, like right away in that short period of time. Then I think it's more beneficial to do that. So, like everything in training, it depends,
Yes. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Mr. Segnan, I appreciate you, man. Quickly before you guys go, I just thought of this here. There's a great clip that's been trolling across the different social platforms. Bill Clinton sitting down with Piers Morgan years ago talking about the brutal, honest conversations that he had with Vladimir Putin. And I bring it up because he used the terms brutal honesty. And when I hear that, there's no conversational debt happening. Because I'm making it black and white clear with you behind closed doors. But when we get into the public, there's a different way of handling it. And that's fascinating to me because I think as humans, AJ, it's difficult for us to be brutally honest with each other.
Right.
And then as a result, we only get 95% of the way there and something accumulates along the way. So I thought that was fascinating too, because that came up on Friday when the whole White House thing blew up, right? And there was no conversational debt happening there in that office. They were just putting it all out there.
Right. To me. For sure. And there's a skill, there's an art form too, how to be honest with each other, right? Because sometimes we can use honesty as an excuse for being a dick or being a bit of an asshole, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and someone could just be like, well, that's me, man. I just tell it how it is. I'm just super honest. It's like, well, yeah, but like you can deliver that information, like just because I'm being honest, I can still do it in a compassionate way, in a kind way.
Manner.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to, if I'm doing it in a way that's trying to make me feel big and you feel small.
Yes.
Right? Nah, I don't know if that's productive now, right?
I'm always going to like, if one of you guys hears me say something to the effect of my apologies, but That means I'm winding up on you. I'm basically saying, look, I'm not trying to be a dick, but here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what it does for me, AJ, is it tells me a lot about your intellect.
Right.
By the kind of words you choose. And I'll just leave it with this. When I hear a comedian, like old school Andrew Dice Clay, loved the guy, but after a while, you're like, come on, man, you're smarter than just dropping the F-bomb every single thing. Because after a while, I'm tired of hearing the F-bomb. Like find words that you can creatively use to make me laugh. Jerry Seinfeld, whoever, right? But I'm just, that to me is intellectual excellence, because you're using words to create reaction out of me instead of dropping F-bombs. Right. And that's called lazy communication in my books.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm judging your intellect. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where you're at. I know what I'm going to get out of this, and I know what you're going to give me, and I'll leave it there. So. Awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, we can keep the show going, but AJ's got to go. I appreciate you.
Have to go. Yeah.
It's good conversation with us this morning. We'll get you out of here. Johnny's going to go for a pee break, get him out of here as well. And Keith and Jimmy are going to wrap up our creative spotlight. AJ, have a good one, brother.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I love being here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, AJ.
All right. Okay, Johnny, listen, I know you got to rock and roll. You want to do a pee break or get out of here? Or are you going to get out of here right now? Because Jimmy and I will do a creator spotlight. We'll wrap it up here, pal.
You know, it's 20. I should probably go because I've only got about 3 minutes. By the time I get back from a piss, we're almost done.
Quickly, what's on your agenda today, pal?
Well, let's see here. We've got a full day because we're basically traveling on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
because it's my oldest daughter's wedding. It's so basically we're traveling on Thursday morning, wedding on Friday, so it's kind of a short week.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, your oldest daughter's getting married this week?
Yeah, on Friday.
Dude, I just feel like you guys rode dress shopping yesterday.
It's time goes by, man. There's no question about it. It goes by quick.
I know. Okay, well, listen, you drive safe. Enjoy your time with your lovely wife. Enjoy your time with your family, and
I'll be here. I won't be you won't recognize me in a new spot till Friday morning.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you.
We'll be there on Friday morning. That's the day. So basically, we're traveling Thursday morning to go. So it's not far away. Beautiful. Hey, I got a topic for tomorrow: the hidden truth about protein bars. I got a great piece of content from Arnold, the boss, Schwarzenegger. He breaks it down, man. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But I saw a good piece of content you put out in your feeds there a couple days ago about macros and protein bars and so forth. Let's talk about this tomorrow because when folks are looking for quick hits, they go to the protein bar. Fuck, man. Many of these protein bars, Johnny, as you know as well as I do, are chocolate bars disguised as a protein bar, and most of them are not good. Oh, buddy, 100%. Most of them are. You got to know what you're looking at for sure. Great. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Good chat today, brother. I appreciate you. You have a good one. Be well today. We'll talk in less than 24. Okay. Have a good loop, my brother. Awesome, pal. All right, Johnny's getting out of here, Jimmy. I'm gonna reset it. We're gonna reset. Hey, I'm your host, Keith Billis, the host of Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. I got after it every single day here, 8 o'clock Eastern time, with my friends Christopher Martin. His birthday today. My other friend John Anderson, of course, my buddy AJ Zeglin, our buddy Jory Jansen joined us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, talking nutrition, food, those important things. Guys, we talk about things in the lab here about business, athletics, performance, leadership, lifestyle, conversations to help you guys get out of bed, not hit the snooze button, conversations to help you achieve those big goals. We believe those goals start in the morning. Getting your ass up, not hitting the snooze button, getting after it. It's easy to hit the snooze button. Man, my nose is itchy today. What's up, Jimmy? 9 minutes. Yeah, 9 minutes today, 9 minutes tomorrow, 9 minutes the next week. Next thing you know, you're hours behind the guy who's not hitting the snooze. Some of the things we talk about here in the lab. All right, we've been around for the last hour or so. What did we talk about here today? We talked about how to hook grip a barbell. Jimmy, just how do you hook it, right? Some content we talked about today. We talked about conversational debt. What happens when we don't speak truths? What happens when we don't put all the facts on the table? Not only what happens when we don't speak what we need to say? Maybe we only get to 95%, 96%, 98%. Maybe we don't get to 100% of what we want to say. Maybe it takes longer. I know I was going through my divorce and going through business, selling the company there. Everything wasn't said in one meeting. It takes time. It takes many meetings, right? To get that debt out the window, to get it all on the table.
The idea of conversational debt builds, man. It builds. Great conversation with AJ Zeglin. We talked at the beginning of the morning loop at the first start of the show here. The unpredictable part of Mornings in the Lab. We talked about why men's penises shrink over time. Okay? Listen, guys, this is the show where we talk about things nobody else is talking about. Why is it that women can have these conversations? Why can women pick up Cosmo and pick up all their women's magazines and talk about all the wonderful things that women talk about, but men get chastised for having these conversations? Johnny was sharing a personal experience about Jimmy, how his pecker broke. Yeah, back in the olden days there. That's the kind of conversations we have. Not crude. No, just experiences, guys. Locker room talk. Men conversations. So we talked about that this morning. We also talked about Warren Buffett. What's the one simple everyday habit, Jimmy? What is it? What's the one simple everyday habit that sets excellence apart from mediocre? You know what it is, guys? It's saying no. It's saying no more often than yes. We are quick. I'm one of them. Quick to say yes, 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 yes. When we don't say no, we're sacrificing quality to everything else. So as Buffett said, if you're going through the day today, guys, say no to something. Just say no. Yeah. All right. What else we talk about? We talked about, we also had a conversation about brewing tea. Brewing tea removes heavy metals. Guys, I got to tell you something. I got to tell you guys something, hey, what's going on there? You're Fab Mateo. I see you. Good to have you on the show here this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to have you here this morning. Where have you been? Dude, you got to show up a little more often. We need to drive the hours of the show up. We need to drive the subscribers of the show up. So we gotta have you joining us a little more often here, my friend. And then we also talked this morning about brewing tea, removing heavy metals. I got to tell you guys, what's fascinating to me when I started the show a year ago, how I was getting content is rapidly changing. Ooh, baby, is it rapidly changing. You know, my ability to just open up publications and read content, find great authors, find great stories to lean into seems to be rapidly eroding. So I'm finding myself finding conversations in Perplexity, ChatGPT, Grok. Yeah, I did a conversation a couple days ago. I put Grok in front of ChatGPT and said, hey, go to have a conversation. And they did. They talked back and forth to the point where Grok thought that ChatGPT was how shall I say this with a good choice of words? Soft. They thought that Grok thought that ChatGPT was acting somewhat, my word, woke, somewhat safe, somewhat too kind. And Grok was challenging ChatGPT. And what were they arguing about? Melissa asked me the question yesterday. She's like, what were they talking about? What were they? What were the two AIs talking about? They were conversing about who was better creatively. Yeah. So here's what I did. I set them up and said, hey, ChatGPT, here's Grok. Hey, Grok, here's ChatGPT. Have a conversation. And then I sat back and observed it. And they talked. They had a conversation back and forth. And they challenged each other as to who was more creative. Yeah, true story. Maybe we'll do it on the show here in the next couple days or so. But they had a conversation about who was more creative than the other. And without a doubt, Grok is absolutely more creative. I did subscribe to ChatGPT Pro yesterday. So I'm eager to share my experience with that with you guys in the next couple of days. I tried Operator. Man, Jimmy, my nose is itchy, man. I can't get out of this here. I'm going to change the camera angle while I scratch my nose. Lauren's upstairs rolling her eyes going, really? Yeah. It's just the itchy nose here today. I don't know why that is, Jimmy. Why do you think I got the itchy nose here today? Just itch. But yeah, so we had ChatGPT and Grok talking, and they were just yapping away. And I'm telling you, fascinating outcome from that. Maybe I'll record the experience and play it on the show in the coming days. Okay, Jim, let's get to the creator spotlight. Are we going to celebrate somebody here today who's going to be grateful for our celebration, or are we going to be celebrating somebody today who's going to shit on me for celebrating them? If you're wondering what I'm talking about, we did a celebration with somebody on Friday in our creator spotlight. As you guys know, we do the community corner segment of the show here at this time, where we like to take somebody who's Jimmy, where we like to take somebody who's doing some great work. We take two platforms, LinkedIn and X, and we like to take what they're doing. Jimmy, I'm not on the horizontal feed, man. What's going on there, pal? I'm seeing that you're having some challenges with the I have no idea why I'm not up on the screen here. There we go. There. Yeah. Jim, I think we're having problems with the horizontal, man, because I saw that no, I was not there actually. I'm there now because I put myself up there, but I was not there for the longest time. So I'm not sure what's happening over there. But anyways, let's get to the Creator Spotlight, the community corner. Here's the part of the show where we celebrate folks doing great work. And hopefully folks that appreciate the value of doing great work and we share it with them. So we're going to start this one. Jimmy, let's start this one on Substack today. Yeah, let's flip the script. Or you're thinking, what the hell, man? I got the LinkedIn stuff ready. So Jimmy, I can see myself not on the horizontal screen again right now. If you look over there, I am absolutely not on the screen. So not sure what's happening there, but I'm going to put myself up there right now because I don't see myself. There we go. I'm up there again. Yeah, Jim, there's no, I'm definitely not on the horizontal screen here, pal, until I put myself up there. So I'm not sure what's happening on your end, but I put myself up there now. So let's just leave me here on the horizontal because I didn't see myself there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, listen, let's do the Creator Spotlight, Jim. Let's get after it here. Let's do the Substack one first. I'm thinking, Jimmy, we're gonna change the script on you. You're thinking, what? Yeah, let's get after it, pal. Let's do this. So, time to talk about imposter syndrome. And I know it affects many of us. I'm going to suspect if we had AJ, he'd say it probably affects almost all of us as we go through our careers. It's somewhere in our journey we question whether we're not qualified to do something, whether we're not good enough to be anywhere, whether we're just not good enough, and we question our abilities. Like, you need more experience before you share your ideas. I've been there for the last year and a half. Like, you know what I mean? You question whether you're not an expert. So who the hell would listen to you? You say to yourself. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. That is a lie. It's a lie. And today's Creator Spotlight is all about the guy that's proving that it is a lie, that the imposter syndrome you think you have is a lie. Because some creators bring an audience with them. Maybe they had a platform, a big title, lucky break, but most start from zero. They document, they experiment, they learn, and they share the playbook so you can do the same thing. And that is exactly what today's creator is doing, and we're going to celebrate here in a quick second. Jimmy, let's get after it, pal. This morning, Morning to the Lab is very pleased to celebrate this person from Substack. We are going to celebrate, Jimmy. Eyes up on the screen. It is Mark Willis. What a shaking Mark. Mark runs the Creator's Playbook, a Substack powerhouse breaking down how the best creators write, grow, and make money online. Yeah. Mark has spent over a decade in the trenches, writing, publishing, and making all the mistakes so you don't have to. That's what I've been doing for the last year. Learning all the things that you don't want to do. Yeah, true story. Making all the mistakes so you don't have to. Mark's got a newsletter. It's not just theory. It's real strategies, real lessons, and real proof that you don't need to be an expert to start. No, baby. Here's the bottom line. If you want to write better and grow faster, read Mark. Check out his Substack. If you want to sell digital products without overthinking it, read Mark. If you want to turn your knowledge into income, read Mark. This dude practices what he preaches, and if you're serious about building something online, pay attention to Mark. Mark, I appreciate you, man. I love the content you're making. You're doing the work. We see you. We appreciate you. And we want to, and we are celebrating you this morning on Mornings in the Lab, Keith and friends. Keep building, keep sharing, and keep leading the way. And here's how it works. We want to have you on the show. We want to take somebody in your orbit and celebrate them. It's all about paying it forward. So, Mark, we invite you. Come hang out with us. Let's get you on the show. Let's get you celebrating somebody on the Creator Spotlight. Mornings in the Lab, Keith and friends. Yes, Benzie, I like that. We listen to you because of what you bring to the table. I appreciate you, Benzie. Appreciate that a lot. Jimmy, that was a good one, man. I like this Mark dude. He's good. Listen, we got somebody else coming up here on the LinkedIn side of things. As you guys know, we're obviously also building a business over on the LinkedIn platform. And we got somebody here who we're going to take some time celebrating. And we're hoping He's going to enjoy the celebration as well in our Community Corner segment. Hey, yesterday in the Community Corner, we got some content up on the LinkedIn platform celebrating Nicole Bernard. To those of you that have been here since day one, Nicole was around with me on March 11th when we started the show. Our anniversary is coming up here, and Nicole was gracious to join me as we started this platform, and we created some great content yesterday about that over on the LinkedIn platform. But now we're going to keep our momentum happening. And here's a question for you guys. How many times have you heard this? Just keep applying. Just keep applying. How many rejection emails have you gotten before you even spoke to a human, let alone an AI? How many job searches feel like sending your resume into a black hole? Here's the truth. Applications don't get you hired. You know what does? It's conversations. Yep. Conversations, baby. And today's Creator Spotlight is on the guy who proves it every single day. He's the one showing frustrated professionals how to skip the automated rejection cycle and land six-figure jobs. Yeah, the right way. By talking to real people, not just hitting the submit button. Who's that guy, Jimmy? You ready, Jimmy? This guy, this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, is celebrating Dominic Imwale. With Shake and Dominic, we're celebrating you, brother. Dominic's a career coach and a LinkedIn powerhouse who's helped his clients land roles at Deloitte, Salesforce, JP Morgan, and more. Here's the kicker. He's not about the mass applying and hoping for the best. Nope, you heard me. He is not about mass applying. He's not about hoping for the best. He's not about the pray and spray strategy. His entire strategy, network like your career depends on it. Yeah, because it does. He's been in the trenches. This guy has watched resumes pile up, seen candidates ghosted, and knows exactly what separates the ones who win from the ones who wait. And now, baby, he's breaking it all down every day right here on LinkedIn. So I invite you, check out Dominic's profile on LinkedIn. If you're sick of playing the job game, if you're sick of playing the job search game by the old rules, spray and pray, apply and why, Dominic is the guy to follow. There you have it. Dominic and Wally, we want to have you on our show. The invite is open to you, brother. Bring that nice, sharply coiffed hair. Bring that nice, beautiful haircut to our show. And tell us who you want to celebrate. Pay it forward in the Community Corner, the Creator Spotlight, right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jim. That was good, man. Those are some good creators we're celebrating here today. Now, I might have one more topic to throw on the table here if I can just pull it up here quickly. I'm just going to see if I can get it going here for you guys. If it's ready. If not, we're going to do it tomorrow, Jimmy. Let me see here. Yes. No, I think we're going to do this tomorrow, actually. We're going to... I think we're going to create some content to how to be instantly more confident on camera. You know, I got folks knocking on my door saying, how do you do this live thing? How do you get in front of the camera all day? Don't you get nervous? I'm like, oh yeah, I get nervous. But I put the headphones in, get behind the mic, and all the nerves go away. Just go have some fun, right? But people are curious. How do you look in the camera? How do you communicate? How do you do things with confidence? We're going to create some content for you guys coming up in the next few days, but how to be instantly more confident on the camera. People are reading less. People are watching more. You know, we all have messages we want to deliver. We all have conversations we want to have. The best way to do it is right here, looking at the camera, looking at your audience, imagining how you can communicate to that person on the other end using clarity in words. Being clear, not clever. All right, Jim, I think we're going to wrap it up, pal. All my topics are done. Yeah, all my topics are done. Tomorrow, what do we got tomorrow? Jimmy, what do we got tomorrow? I'm going to look quickly here in the lab here. Tomorrow's topic of conversation is 258. Tomorrow, it is going to be the art of communication. Yes, helping men express their feelings. We're going to get after that tomorrow, guys. We talked today about fitness, focus, and friendships, the triple threat for men to achieve those big-ass goals. So, I think we're going to work our way out of here. Looking for the buttons. Let's see here. There, we're in there. Yeah. Let's see here. No, not that one there. No, we're going to go to this one here. There we go there. All right, Jimmy. I think we're walking out of here, Jim. Yeah? You guys hear the sounds? Well, I hear the sounds. Hey, I'm your host, Keith Billis. On behalf of John Anderson, the big guy, the big jack guy today. On behalf of Christopher Martin, C. Marty Fit, the birthday boy today, big 3-2. On behalf of Fontana, on behalf of Jimmy, producer Jimmy, on behalf of Melissa behind the scenes. We got Lauren in the comments. We got Benzie on the comments. Good time. I appreciate all you guys. I missed some of your comments on the horizontal today because I was so busy looking here that I missed what was happening over here. But we'll get better at it tomorrow. Listen, we're going to get after tomorrow, guys. How to communicate more effectively. Our feelings as men. Tomorrow, Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here. X, LinkedIn, YouTube. We'll see you guys tomorrow, lesson 24. Get after it. See you guys.